Welcome to another episode of Galaxy Gardens. My name is Chrissy. Today we are making bread and we are making soup. But not just that, we are making 3 different loaves of bread. I have my sourdough just about ready to go. I'm honestly gonna call it good enough. But we're going to be making a regular loaf of bread as well as a loaf of sorghum bread and a loaf of acorn bread. For these two, they are going to be mixed in with wheat flour. You just need to add extra stuff in to get the kind of rise you want from these kinds of ingredients, but the flavor is going to be there. So we're going to make all 3. We're going to make little tiny loaves of bread, and we're going to taste test them, and we're going to be making some squash soup. Not butternut squash. I just have couple types of acorn squashes and a Hubbard squash on hand. So I gotta get those in the oven and start baking them so we can add them to the soup. And we're gonna go ahead and get the bread going. So let's go get some stuff started. We got our bowls ready. My oven just beeped, so we gotta cut up the squashes and get them in there. But before I do that, I wanna get our dough started. So I'm gonna have, this will be acorn flour, this will be sorghum, that will be plain. You can also see in the background our sunchokes we just harvested. That is a story for another day. So I'm gonna get everything in here. I just ground up my sorghum into kind of a rough flour. So let me add everything in and I'll tell you what our ratios are. Isn't that cool? Okay, so we have acorn flour, sorghum, and just plain. This is King Arthur unbleached bread flour. That's just what I got for here. And you'll notice I added something to all of them. I added a dash of ginger, because apparently yeast really likes it. So ever since I started adding a little bit of ginger, I've never had any trouble with my bread rising. So now you add my starter here to all of them, as well as some more flour. So we ended up with 3/4 of a cup worth of sorghum flour after I blended it. So this is 3/4 of a cup and 3/4 of a cup. I'll go ahead and add, I'm gonna go with 1.5 cups of flour to each. And we're gonna call it a day. So we're gonna have teeny tiny loaves. And I'm gonna add some water. We're gonna get them all mixed up and let them auto-lyse for about an hour. So we're not adding salt yet. We're just hydrating each of the batches of flour. Once our different batches are hydrated, at that point we'll add a little bit of salt to them and start the stretch and fold process, which we're only gonna do like a couple times before we bake them. So we're not doing anything overnight. We're doing the absolute laziest version of sourdough here. We got these all mixed up. So that is our plain flour, our sorghum flour, and our acorn flour. Again, remember the acorn and sorghum were both mixed with the regular wheat flour so we can get some rise on them. And we're gonna see how they do. So I'm gonna cover these up. They're gonna sit here for about an hour, and then when we come back to them, we'll add a little bit of salt and start the stretch and fold process. Those are good for the next hour. Now I'm just gonna cut all of my squash in half, gut them, wrap them in foil, and bake them in the oven for the next hour as well. My goal is we're at least gonna start baking the bread when the soup is about ready. So I won't have any crusty bread for soup, but we'll have it later on. I have a few minutes to kill, so I just wanted to let you know our website is up and operational. You can check it out here. I'm gonna put it right at the bottom of the screen. It's www.galaxygardensma.com. We have merch on there. You can access our affiliate links on there. You can access other stuff. We have a little about me, and all of our updated YouTube videos will also be on there as well. So definitely go down here, go check it out, and that's gonna be our new spot for everything. We're gonna go one at a time, and we're gonna start with the basic one here. So I just washed my hands, took my rings off, and my hands are a little bit wet because these are gonna be a little sticky. So we're just gonna scoop them up best we can. Now, if you're at home and you wanna dump this out on your counter every time you stretch and fold, you can. We're not gonna do that. We're just gonna pick it up. Okay, this is my kind of lazy stretch and fold. It's very sticky, very sticky. So I'm gonna get my hands more wet. It'll get less sticky over time. I don't really have time to wash all these bowls right now. I would recommend once they get to this point, just transfer it to another bowl. So you can see it's starting to come together into a nice little ball. Because we autolyzed it. And I'm actually realizing I forgot to add the salt, so let me go get some. These ones as well. I'm not putting any other seasonings in these because I just strictly want to taste test them. Okay, you don't necessarily have to do it this many times, but you can see now we have a much smoother ball here. Look good. So yeah, ideally put this in a new bowl. I could actually do that right now. That way, you know, you don't have to deal with all the other stuff that's more dried out. So we're gonna leave this one right here and move on to the next ones. I decided to go ahead and just put everything in new bowls. So this is acorn flour, this is sorghum, and this is plain. So you can see they're much more put together. I did notice that the acorn and sorghum are a lot more grainy. So we're gonna see what happens. Now basically what I'm gonna do is every 30 minutes, I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing. So we're gonna do a stretch and fold. I do a lazier version of a stretch and fold than you might see on the internet. And then let the gluten relax and do it again. So this is our first time. It's almost 3 o'clock. I'm only gonna do it a couple more times. These are gonna be very simple loaves, and then we will bake them one at a time. If you wanna be fancy, you can stretch and fold them for a couple hours, so 4 times, and then actually put them in the fridge overnight. Take them out, bake them the next day, but we'll leave these for now and see how they do. Our squash is ready, so I'm gonna go ahead and open them all up. Before I do that and get into these, I'm gonna just chop up half an onion, get it cooking on the stove with a little bit of garlic. Then we'll add our squash, a little bit of aromatics. I'm gonna put a little bit of sage in there, a little bit of ginger, I don't know what else. Salt, pepper, you know, the usual. And then we'll add some broth and get it cooking. We have our pickled garlic that we made. And this was just a heated vinegar, which we then poured over our garlic in the jar, let it cool, and put it in the fridge. So over time, the garlic will discolor it a little bit. We're gonna take out as much as we want. If you're worried about the vinegar flavor, you can rinse them off, but it's really not potent. We're just gonna give this all a chop, put in the pot with some olive oil. We got all that in the pot, so now I'm gonna start opening these. Nice. Ooh, it's hot. So basically just gonna scoop this out, and then once the onion cooks down a bit, we'll add it in there. So just very carefully put it in our other container for now. I like to bake all this stuff and steam it ahead of time because I hate peeling squash, so it's just a lot easier once it's already cooked. And our soup will actually be done really fast, so I think our soup is gonna be ready to go before our first bread goes in the oven. Well, that's fine. This is a lazy Sunday, so I have no agenda. Let me go ahead and open the rest of these. So you see this is our pot we usually use for water bath canning, but it's also my soup pot because I was going to use my Dutch oven, but I need that to make bread. So we're gonna use this, and then actually my other usual soup pot I'm using to make caramels. So that's fine. Basically, we have our 3 squash ready to go. I'm breaking up some chicken bouillon in here because I thought I had broth, but I don't. So this is the next best thing. Let's see, and I don't have time for it to dissolve from cube form, so I'm gonna break it up by hand. Okay. We have some pepper, salt, rosemary, let's see, where's the rest of this? Oh, right, let's see. Oh, I have for sage in the cabinet. Perfect. There's just a little bit of tricolor sage left. And then we're gonna add a tiny bit of ginger. And about a quart of water. Again, I don't have broth. So we have about 2 quarts worth of squash. So we're doing half as much water. I'm just stirring this together. It smells really good. All right, can you see this okay? Looks pretty good. We're gonna let this cook down for about 15 minutes. It's a little bit more liquid than I want, so that's what we're waiting to cook off and let the flavors meld together, and then we will get the Immersion blender and blend it all up. Well, that's cooking down. I'm gonna go work on a couple of my side projects. Just know I'm going to be stretching and folding our 3 loaves bread about like 2 or 3 more times. So if we're doing it about every 20 to 30 minutes, we're gonna be ready to bake them in about an hour, hour and a half. Side project number 1 is done. Made some honey vanilla caramels. So that's cooling down. That took longer than anticipated though. But this beauty is ready to blend. So I'm gonna go pull out my Immersion blender, give it a little blend-a-rooney, and then I'm gonna taste test it. Nice. This came out just a little bit thicker than I wanted, so I'm gonna add just a tiny bit of water. And I don't like to add cream to my squash soup. This isn't butternut squash, this is Acorn and Hubbard. It tastes really good from what I tried so far, but I want it to be just a little bit soupier. So the caramel took a lot of my attention for the past hour, so this just cooked down a little bit more than I wanted. That's okay, it's a really easy fix. Just add a little water, it's not the end of the world. There we go, nice and silky. So yeah, still pretty thick. The flavor's definitely there. We're just getting the consistency, so I'll be right back when we plate this. We're gonna try just a little bit of this, but you can see got a much better consistency. If you had more broth, that would definitely be a good addition instead of water, but it's all right. Now, nice bowl soup. If you're even, could go ahead and be fancy. A little bit of cream on there. And I don't have any pepitas, but that would be great. If you're not familiar with those, they're like green pumpkin seeds. That looks delish. Okay, I have my soup here, gonna give it a try. That is really good. That's really good. And really simple ingredients. This was just 2 small acorn squashes, a small Hubbard squash. We used bouillon cubes, we could use stock or broth, but we did bouillon cubes and water. A little bit of onion, a little bit of garlic, ginger, rosemary, sage, salt, pepper, and that's it. Put a little cream in after. Super, super good. If you're making this on a weeknight, you could get your squashes ready to go ahead of time, just keep them in the fridge for a couple days, and then just toss it together. Once the squash is cooked and you put it in there, joining all the ingredients together, heating it up so it cooks together, and blending it, that whole process takes like 30 minutes. So yeah, it'll take, what, 30 minutes for your oven to heat up, about an hour to cook the squash, and then 30 minutes to make the soup. So do the math. Definitely tasty, recommend it. It was perfect for us today. It was raining ice all day, so winter is just about here. Behind me we have our bread. Only needs one more stretch and fold, which is about due for right now. So I'm gonna do that, and then so it's about 4:30. I'm gonna let it rise, do final rise for about an hour, and then we're gonna start baking them. So once they're ready to go, I think what I'll do is show you them when they come out of the oven. So I will see you in about 2 hours. We don't have a magically clean kitchen. I gotta go through all that later, but check this out, right behind me. This is our acorn loaf, sorghum loaf, plain loaf, and they are all ready to go and shaped, and I put just a dusting of flour on top of them. I'm gonna put towel on top of them while they rise. And here's a pro tip. Instead of cornmeal underneath your baked goods, put semolina flour. It has a higher burn point. So I prefer it when we are doing sourdough and they're going into a 450-degree oven. I could do 500 degrees, but we're just gonna do 450 today. But yeah, they are all ready to go and just gotta wait about another 45 minutes. I just popped in the kitchen and it is time to break into these loaves. They're all done and they all came out pretty good. Here's our 3 loaves. We have the Acorn flour, Mennonite sorghum, and plain. So we bought our wheat flour, but we harvested and processed our acorns, and we grew and processed our Mennonite sorghum. So I'll put in the description links where you can learn some more about that process. But they came out pretty good. I think these two held their shape the best. This one pancaked out a little bit, but as far as rise goes, I think the sorghum and plain one ended up rising the most. I mean, they're pretty small. They only have like between 2 and 3 cups of flour between each of them, but they look good. So we're gonna go ahead and cut them open and see what they look like on the inside. Found Greg, and we now have a flight of bread to try, and I don't know if I'm more or less excited for this than when we did the hot wing challenge and when we taste tested all the garlic. That was pretty good because a lot of work went into this. So what one do you want to try first? You want to try baseline or sorghum? Okay, so this one's the sorghum, the Mennonite sorghum. And it smells like molasses. It smells really sweet. That's good. It doesn't taste that sweet.
No.
I remember I made crackers with this before, and the crackers came out super sweet, but this isn't super sweet. It's good. What would you rate it?
As far as bread goes, 9 out of 10.
Okay. I'll finish the rest of that one later. All right. Now I feel like we need a palate cleanser. All right, this is the plain one. This is regular bread. That's bread.
It's good.
I know it's good. I made it. That's bread. It's good. Now, how's that?
What?
How would you rate that one?
8 out of 10.
Wow! Lower than the sorghum? Is it because it's basic?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Charlie really wants some. I can see him down there. Maybe later. Alright. Now this is the acorn flour. I've never cooked with acorn flour before. This has just been chilling in the freezer because it's a really high fat flour. So, try it.
Tastes pretty similar to the first one.
Really? I feel like it doesn't taste like anything. Hold on. No, it tastes different. Okay.
Hmm.
It's really moist.
Yeah, that's the biggest difference is the texture.
It's a really moist texture. The sorghum one I actually thought was gonna be more grainy. But it's good. I really like the sorghum one. I like the color of the acorn flower one. There's a really nice color to it. Alright. What would you rate it?
9 out of 10.
2 9s and an 8? That's pretty good. Alright.
Good bread.
Taste test over. Well, that was a good appetizer. Greg made tacos, so we're gonna go have some dinner. But yeah, so this is the acorn flour one. You know, if you want to use things other than wheat flour, most of the time you do have to cut it with wheat flour to get a rise on it, but these did great. These clearly rose very well, and they did a good job, and we have a very healthy, active sourdough starter as well that we added in there. This isn't your usual kind of sourdough bread recipe video. I more just wanted to showcase the different items that we had. So I think they did pretty good. When we were still working with the dough, the kind of like just basic wheat flour one was very smooth, very like silky to work with. And the acorn flour one started out more gritty, and then as it hydrated, it got a lot smoother. But the sorghum one seemed gritty. Like I could just feel it with my hands the whole time. So different textures, but now that they went through the oven and they cooked, they all have very good texture to them. You know, good. Oh, I don't know the word I'm looking for. But it worked out. So this is, you know, definitely a small batch recipe. If you're doing traditional, you know, I don't know, 4 to 7 cups of flour type of bread, that's great. I really like using 3 cups or less, and I actually prefer recipes that are about like 1.5 cups worth of flour because we just don't need that much bread. Half of every of these loaves is going in the freezer for now. So that's pretty cool. So we got those done, and we got the soup done, and I guess I'm not eating soup for dinner, so I'll save that for tomorrow. Made some caramels, and there's one other thing. I don't know. That's all right. I'm gonna say one last time, please go down here, go to this link, www.galaxygardensma.com. Our website is live and it's ready for you. And I'll see you next time, and I hope you have a great week.